a little bit of background on my experience farming and gardening and why I'm in front of you here today. I think this is probably about the 5th year that I've spoke at this festival, so it's always a good chance to connect with people. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and a regular suburban girl, sort of good girl achiever, and towards the end of high school, and that was about 1985, 86, I started to find out about the way that our planet was being damaged by humans. Things like deforestation, clear cutting, species extinction, air and water pollution. And as a 15 and 16-year-old, I was floored. I could not believe it, that the world I lived in, the people surrounding me were not so great and happy as perfect as I thought. And at that time, I felt fairly isolated. The green movement that we are all now a part of, hybrid cars, solar panels, just generally green thinking, was not really happening yet in the suburbs of Chicago. So I disappointed my parents, to put it mildly, by telling them I didn't want to go to any of the 20 colleges we had just visited all over the East and West Coast. Instead, I wanted to go live on a farm. I wanted to apprentice myself to learning how to grow organic vegetables, which at the time was like, what are organic vegetables? So thankfully, my mom found an apprenticeship for me at the farm you see up here, and I went to learn by doing, by physically getting out there and growing food. I immediately loved it. I spent the next 17 years on 3 different organic farms. All of the farms that I were on, it was a commune, which was exactly what my parents were hoping I would choose. But it was a group of artists who worked together to live a more ecologically sustainable lifestyle. So, buildings made of recycled materials, you see one here, composting toilets, growing our own food, in general, cooperating. So that was 17 years of my life, and 10 years ago, approximately, my life hit a real low point, and my idealism as a young 18-year-old that had brought me to this commune and this alternative way of life, wanting to live closer to the earth, as a 35-year-old mom of a 2.5-year-old, I was in a very different place, and realized that my life's path up to then had taught me a lot. I'd learned how to grow food, I'd found what I loved to do, but it was not where I needed to be at that time. So I, at that point, moved home to my parents' house in the suburbs of Chicago. And my mom looked at me within a few days of being home and said, "You're gonna go crazy. You've lived on a farm for 17 years. Why don't you build a garden in our backyard?" So my parents, this is their house. They live across from a golf course. And I was kind of like, how do you do that? Okay, great, let's build a garden. So we got together and we designed this garden in their backyard. And I loved it right away. It was a huge challenge for me. I went from growing, 600 tomatoes to 6 tomatoes. It was a very different scale, and certainly was like, totally obvious that across the street on the golf course, every chemical known to man was being sprayed. So how were we going to do this organically? But we launched in and got this garden going. And friends of the family came by and said, "You should start a business. Do you realize a lot of people are going to want help growing food gardens in and around these suburbs?" So that's when the idea for our company, the Organic Gardener Limited, was born. My husband and I run it together. We're in our 10th season. We help people design, build, plant, and maintain edible gardens. We've built over 700 food gardens in and around the Chicago area, all shapes and sizes, all types of situations. We now are a team of about 20 people at the Organic Gardener, so we're definitely have expanded every year since we started in 2005. And we help as consultants or doing the work side by side alongside people. So that's the story in a nutshell. For more aspects of the story, my book, From the Ground Up, is predominantly a memoir, personal journey. So you heard a bit about the commune, and there's a love story and a parenting story and a love of the earth story, all of that. But the book is also completely infused with how to grow your own food. The goal is to inspire with the message that everyone, everywhere can grow their own food. The other aspect of the book is a lot of research and data about the benefits of getting our hands in the earth, of digging in, of growing our own. The benefits for the planet, for ourselves, our own health and well-being, mentally, physically, for kids. So a lot of great information on that level, and also about the urban farming movement in Chicago and beyond. Very exciting times for the Grow Your Own Food movement.